Thank you for joining this mscrm-addons.com webinar. Today we're going to be going over e-signing and DocumentsCorePack for Dynamics 365, PowerApps, and PowerAutomate. Some of you may not be familiar with that last term. What PowerAutomate is it's Flow. They've changed the name from Flow to PowerAutomate, so if you weren't familiar with that, every time I say PowerAutomate, just think Flow, okay? Moving on, so let's talk about some of the key values of the DocumentsCorePack e-signing integration. Now, one of the things to note is that we do integrate with the major 3 e-signing tools that are out there right now, DocuSign, Adobe Sign, and AssureSign, so all those. So the first thing is, it's going to help you out with your productivity, right? It enables e-signing with 1 or 2 clicks in PowerApps, as well as provides full automation via Flow or PowerAutomate. It just makes it a lot easier to kind of put these things together really quickly and easily for your users. You don't have to go through these interfaces and do a lot of different clicks and things of that nature. It just makes it real simple. The next thing is rich documents. So you're able to generate rich, complex, and personalized documents for e-signing. What do we mean by that? Is we mean you're able to include, your company logos and headers and pictures and different fonts, et cetera, make your documents look really nice. Send those off for e-signing very simply and easily. Again, most of you have probably already, a lot of you guys are DocumentsCorePack users, so you probably have a lot of templates out there and you're thinking, hey, this would be great if we could do e-signing with this. Well, we make it really simple for you to take those templates that you already have and just convert those over to an e-signing document. So, and we'll show you that. Again, talking about the template design, you're going to use the simple and intuitive Microsoft Word-based template designer to prepare the documents for e-signing. And we make it really simple. It's just a couple clicks and you can insert your fields, your different e-signing fields here. And real quick, one thing that I do want to answer here, I see in the chat here, are you still able to use workflows instead of Microsoft Flow? That is, yes, that is still available. So we did include that, so no worries there. Just because I didn't mention it doesn't mean that it's not there, so no worries. So moving on, let's talk a little bit about how this works. Basically, there's 3 little steps here. You predefine signature tags and e-signing settings via the DocumentsCorePack template designer. And if you've designed templates, you're aware of what that is. But you collect the signing parameters, whether that be through basically your DocumentsCorePack dialog, or you embed that into a flow or into a workflow. And then you trigger the e-signing process from your different form factors, which would be either your model-driven apps, Canvas apps, PowerAutomate, your workflow, DocumentsCorePack dialog, etc. Okay, so it's real simple. It's real simple to go from A to B instead of having to kind of, click through a whole bunch of things. So let's talk a little bit about the demo, what we're going to do today. We're going to show you the template designer, how to prepare your contracts in Microsoft Word using the DocumentsCorePack template designer. And then in Dynamics 365, show you how to send that document for e-signatures via Dynamics 365 with our basically our tool inside of there, and with one-click actions, etc. Show you a little Power App, just give you just kind of a brief overview of that, how to do your, how that would look, how we think that would look, just to enable e-signing in your own signing app, so. And then automate your contracts using PowerAutomate. That's a really handy thing. So let me just flip on over to my demo system here, and we'll get going. So the first thing we want to do, I'm just going to bring up everything, bring up my dynamic system, and bring up Microsoft Word. So the first thing that I want to do, like I said before, a lot of you probably already have templates designed, that you want to basically convert over into e-signing documents. So basically we have this one here. This is a quote template that we have. I'll just go ahead and open it up. So open it real quick, and let me just size this up for you. So you can see it. So I have my quote here, and basically what I want to do, this is a quote that I'd normally send to a customer, just send it off via email, but let's say, for example, now I want to add some of these e-signing elements to it so that I can use it with, DocuSign or Adobe Sign. So like, say, for example, I want to add that they initial here for our terms and conditions here, and that they just do a signature saying that they've received the quote or accept the quote, etc. Okay. Easiest way to do that, of course, is just go over here to my mscrm-addons tab. I click my insert mail merge fields. Okay. And then let's say, for example, here, this is where I'm going to start off with. I'm just going to add a little signature block for someone to put their initials in. So we're going to do this first off with DocuSign here. So as you can see here at the bottom, we have all our major things with the different labels that you can do. DocuSign, Assure Sign, and Adobe Sign, okay? So here for DocuSign, I just want to do an initial. So all I do is I set my cursor in the place that I want it to be. I come over here to my initial, okay, so that's where I want it. And I go ahead and put it in there. So it puts that field in there automatically for me. Again here, so I can use the field properties to actually assign this to different signees. But I'm not going to go into super detail on that, so you can have as many signees as you want. DocumentsCorePack is smart enough to know to give you those actual options when you do use the DocumentsCorePack dialog to actually assign who you're going to be the first signee, the order that they're going to actually be signed in. But you can set up multiple ones here. Again, I would just suggest referring back. There's an older webinar that we've done on this. It gives you this in a little bit more detail. But just kind of wanted to show you that for those who have not seen it. So there we go. So I have my initials in there. And then let's say, let's see. We'll just put this in there. Let's get this, please sign to accept. Again, now I just want to grab and capture their signature. And let's say, for example, the date that they signed it. So I can do, again, insert fields, DocuSign item. First one's going to be a signature. Next, let's see, a DocuSign item. And then just put the date signed in there. And that's pretty much all that you have to do. I mean, it's just, as you can see here, just to add these fields in here, it's just to put it where you want it and, set the field in there. Pretty simple. Just select it from the thing here. So let's go ahead and save this template here. All right. And let me get it over to my correct spot here. And then my DocuSign quote, and we'll save it out. Yes, I will overwrite. So it takes just a minute to save. And yeah, after that, we can flip over to the dynamic system here. And here I've got this particular quote that I want to, I want to send this quote out and have this done. So let's go ahead and the first things first, let's go ahead and see here. Let's go and get my, where are you? My create document button. I missed it. It's a little bit early. So let's go ahead and do this. First of all, I'm just going to kind of show you the process of what you can do. So here, basically, this is just you're selecting everything. Here, the user would basically select the correct quote. Next, here, what the file type is. We want to attach the document as a DocuSign email, right? We have the ability to do in-person signing. We can set our recipient here. And that's pretty much all we need to do to kind of set this up. Once we hit next, that then starts the whole process and kind of goes through the process and does the whole e-signing thing. But it's a lot nicer, really, if naturally you use the one-click actions. You can see here for users, there's a lot of buttons to click. There's a lot of things to click on that can easily kind of mess things up here. So with a one-click action, you can do things like this, where all those things that I had to pick, I no longer have to pick. It automatically does all that stuff for me, picks the correct template, brings me to the thing where I just am now selecting here, my recipient here. That's all I have to do. Just do the in-person signing, go ahead and click next, and kick that process off. Hello, did you freeze? Oh, there we go. Wouldn't be a webinar if we didn't have one little hiccup there. So anyway, so basically what it's doing now is it's grabbing that template as usual. As most of y'all know, it's putting those, it's grabbing the data from CRM. It's putting that information into the template. It's setting this whole thing up, putting this all together for me. And here it should spit out a document here shortly. So let's give it just a second. And usually it's doesn't take this long. It's, you know, the first one that you do in the morning is the worst one. So here we go. So now, basically, since we're doing kind of the in-person signing thing, normally you can do the thing where, you know, it sends the email around, etc. But just for purposes of this demo, we're doing in-person signing. You can actually do this. You know, you can have this set up as a on a terminal. Someone can actually, you know, you can set this all up in front of your customer and then just click this little thing. Click this button. It takes you then now over to DocuSign, where you're actually going to do the whole process. So I'm going to start this up, and then I'm going to, you know, pass this over to the user to sign. It brings up my document. I do not want you to know that. So then I'm going to agree and continue. If you've done this before, you're used to this. You can see I've got my quote up in there. Just do my first initial. So, and then on to my signature. There we go, and finish. And then I can get a copy sent to my sent to the email address here. Just go ahead and continue, and pass the control back to Michael here. So there we go. So I've signed it in person. I can come back here, close this out. Now, if I look at my email here, I've received a document back that I can actually go ahead and review. Got it here, and got my signatures in there and everything. So it's a real simple and easy process. I'm sure if you've done it before, you're familiar with it. So that's basically how we would do that with our Create Document button, and then also using a one-click action as well. Let's talk a little bit about our, let's see, what is this? Like doing this, say for example, let's do this with a Power App. That would be like the next level of thing, right? Because, you know, you're not gonna have somebody sitting in front of your computer with all this information on it. Let's look at what a Power App would look like. So this is just a simple Power App that we've created. It's nothing real major. Pretty simple to do. I have a list here of all my quotes, and you gotta imagine that I'm actually on my phone or on my iPad or something like that at the customer site. And so I've got connection to my dynamic system, and this is my tool to actually set up for the e-signing process, right? So what I would do here is go to my the quote that I've got for this individual person. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Select that particular quote. So here I've got my quote. I've got the name, the total amount, what I want to do here, and this time around, we're going to do the Adobe sign. We're going to show this how this kind of looks with Adobe sign as well. So I'll just basically select this, select my template here. So I have my two templates that I can select from. Make sure I'm selecting the correct one. Let's see, the file output that I want is going to be a PDF. I want to save this to SharePoint and also send for e-signing. Okay, so I'm going to generate and send this. And here we go. So this is all I have to do now. I just kind of have to wait. So in the background now, we have a flow that's running. It's basically doing the same process that the DocumentsCorePack dialog does. It creates the auto merge working item and sets everything up for this whole thing to be processed and sent to Adobe Sign. Hello, can you? I'm sorry, my headset kind of, okay, good. My headset just kind of messed up for a second. So anyway, sorry about that for the dead space. Here we go. So I have here that the process succeeded, just let me know. And the document was sent for signing. And I also have an in-person signing link here. And then it's gonna basically then show me a copy of it. So if I go over here to my email, unfortunately, I don't know why these go into the junk email, but they do. But here we go. So this is actually sent off, or we could do the in-person signing again. I'm just going to review and sign this document. Here, this is Adobe Sign here. So we can kind of scroll through this, get down here to the bottom, go ahead and do my signature here. I'll just draw one out. So there we go. And put my name in, and then apply. And then go ahead and sign that out. So simple, pretty simple. That whole signing process is really, really easy. Again, here it's just, it's going to kick me back a that's my DocuSign one. There we go. Kicks me back here. The agreement that I've signed to my email. I mean, it's a really streamlined process, and as you can see, it's pretty quick. I mean, it goes through really quickly. So, the using these little apps and everything like that, I think I really think it's the future. I mean, I think this is how we're going to be doing things. So it's definitely something you definitely want to look into, checking these things out. So that basically shows you a Power App, kind of how we can do it with the DocumentsCorePack dialog, a one-click action, and the Power App, what you can kind of do with it. Let's talk a little bit about full automation, right? So full automation with PowerAutomate. Again, this is everything that just basically happens in the background. So how easy is that, right? So basically for us, it's just, activate quote, right? I have a flow that basically is running here in the background. It's basically running. It takes relatively, let's see here. Okay, it's already done. So I should have an email here shortly. Let's see here. That's that. There we go. So yeah, already got the email here from the flow. Again, all done in the background. So I don't really have to do anything. Just come down here, sign this again. I like this, and then my name, and then apply. That's pretty much it. So that just being able to do that with Flow and how that works. Basically, we did the whole thing in 10 seconds, and that's just, setting the quote to active. Basically, what it's doing is we set that quote to active. The flow kicks off, grabs the template, merges the template together, sends it off for e-signing, and then gets it in front of the customer in 10 seconds. So really, really fast. So let's see here. Let me just do this so I don't forget. I'll do that. There we go. All right. So that basically concludes our demonstration for today. Basically, we wanted to demo this stuff out for you. One thing that I'd like to add real quick before we kind of go into what's coming in the future is if there's anything of that you'd like to see in more detail, please let us know, and then we'll do a future webinar on it, on how you basically would go through and do these things. So please give us some feedback. Let us know. At the end of this webinar, there's a little thing where you can comment and rate the webinar. Yeah, there's a little area where you can fill in the box. And if there's something else that you want to see in more depth, please let us know, and we'll make sure to do a webinar kind of around that. So let's talk a little bit about the roadmap, what's coming for this. One thing is support in Template Explorer. So yeah, what is Template Explorer? I'm just going to show it off real quick because it's already in the product. It's my favorite thing. It's my new favorite thing about it. So Template Explorer, if you have the latest version of DocumentsCorePack, which you can download from our website, you can grab this, set this up, and Template Explorer basically allows you to zip around your document very, very quickly, and you see basically all your fields, all your computed fields, all your normal fields, your tables. Nice thing is if you want to go to something very, very quickly, let's say, for example, here, I want to go here. I just double click it, takes me to it, takes me to the field. Makes it a lot easier to edit things, especially when you're doing, say, for example, computer field, and you need to go to the field properties, you just right click it, field properties, brings it right up. You can change things immediately, makes editing and working with your documents so much faster. So highly suggest that you go get that. The next thing on the roadmap is support for additional settings. For example, payment providers, etc. One of the things here, like, is what does that mean? So for right now, this is, of course, the version that I have is a, it's a little bit of a, it's a beta, right? It's a version that is coming probably next week. But for example, here for DocuSign, you can add like payment sums, etc. To your documents. So being able to request payments and things like that. So yeah. So again, we have free trials and AppSource. Let's talk a little bit about that. So free trials are available on Microsoft AppSource. So for DocumentsCorePack and for your e-signing provider, whichever you choose, it's up to you. We have a couple of guides. So this is at our website. So support documentation, #DCP. Take you right to that. We have pretty good documentation on this. Guys did a really good job on this. So it takes about 30 minutes to get started with all this, setting this all up. I know that everyone has really good documentation about how to set their stuff up in Dynamics. We do as well. And so, yeah, just go ahead, give it a shot. If you haven't done this before, I know that I remember from the survey that a lot of you are already DocumentsCorePack users. Give your e-signature people a try. Yeah, just find out which one works best for you. So thanks a lot for joining everyone today. I really appreciate it. You can find us on the web at www.mscrm-addons.com. Help Center is always open to you. We have live chat support. Just go to our website, click on the support button, take you right to it. And don't forget to check out our blog. There's a lot of helpful tips and tricks on there to do with e-signing, any of our products, a lot of stuff. Like if you want to know something about a product or how to do something, that's probably the first place to start, right? Because we add a lot of things there that we think are helpful to you guys using the product.